morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Clap your hands, clap, clap, clap. Stomp your feet, stomp, stomp, stomp. Spin around, spin, spin, spin. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. 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 Wash your hands, wash, wash, wash. Shake your hands, shake, shake, shake. Brush your teeth, brush, brush, brush. All right. Good morning.
First of all, what took y'all so long? B, what is this? What is this? What is this? We've talked about this 100 times probably between the morning show and the night show. I can't believe they actually did it. I haven't read the article. I don't know what the details are. I don't know how this will or won't affect scholarship numbers. This doesn't impact football. This is for baseball players. And yeah, good morning, Annette. You there?
Yeah.
Okay, we couldn't hear whatever it was you were just saying. I don't know
It probably wasn't important.
but can you believe this?
What's your thoughts?
I can't believe they actually did it. I haven't read the article yet, so I don't really have any thought. I'm fixing to read now, but we talked about this and had a bunch of people ask about it, and I was like, I don't know. There's so much that goes into that. We do about scholarship numbers. But anyway, I'm going to read it real quick because this is, this is huge news for a lot of people. You know, the majority of college athletes do not go on to play professional sports. I mean, you're talking about some people's last ever opportunity to play whatever it is sport they've been playing since they were 4 or 5 years old.
Sure.
And it's just rare. It's rare we see the NCAA make a student-athlete driven decision, and that appears to be what this is on the surface, anyway. Let's see. The NCAA voted Monday to grant an extra year of eligibility to all student-athletes in spring sports whose seasons were canceled because of the virus. The NCAA's decision will extend the eligibility of all spring sports student-athletes, not just seniors whose careers so everyone gets an extra. So if you're a sophomore, everyone gets an extra year.
Wow.
Not just seniors. Will allow schools to expand their rosters beyond current scholarship limits. So that answers that question. To account for incoming recruits and seniors who were expected to leave. So they're going to increase everyone's scholarship numbers for spring sports and allow every single player who was on the roster this spring season to have one extra year of eligibility at the end of their career, whether that would have been this year or even if you're a freshman this year, you now get an extra year. The NCAA will leave it up to each school to decide whether to grant seniors in spring sports less or equal financial aid next year compared to what they received this year. The NCAA said financial aid flexibility, blah, blah, blah. Waivers apply to student athletes competed in spring sports. That's baseball, softball, tennis, golf, outdoor track and field, lacrosse, rowing, men's volleyball, beach volleyball. That's got to be a Pac-12 thing. And women's water polo. The decision does not include winter sports such as so it does not include basketball. Does not include basketball. I might have been some questions about that since it starts sort of one calendar year and rolls into the next, but it does not include basketball. Doesn't include
hockey, I guess, for the northern schools.
Doesn't include basketball, hockey, swimming and diving, and gymnastics, and of course football. Council's decision gives individual schools the flexibility to make these decisions at a campus level. What the programs must weigh now is how to disperse the scholarships as well as roster spots and playing time. That could be interesting too. You're a freshman committed to some school because whatever position you play, maybe they were a senior. Now they're going to be back next year. I don't know. Something to keep an eye on. But overall, this appears to be a great idea, and I think we should. We gave the NCAA credit for something the other day, and I said we need to give them credit when they actually get something right because it's so rare. I'm sure I'll read an article somewhere today from somebody trying to convince me that this is the worst thing ever. But
sure, there'll be more than one.
As of right now, what little bit I know about it now, which is just from perusing this article, this appears to be, I think, a positive move for the NCAA.
The next 12 months are going to be extremely hard on a lot of colleges and universities, especially small ones.
Now, if anyone's wondering, I'm reading this off of a website, and this article was written by Mark Schleybaugh. Is he a journalist?
We should ask the general about that.
Well, I think he's clearly a journalist. I mean, here he is writing articles for a sports site. I mean, to me, he's clearly a journalist.
That makes him a journalist in my mind.
Yeah. Anyway, good morning, BB. I couldn't believe that. We don't prepare for these shows. I'm not even going to joke around about it. It's not like me and BBD have an hour-long meeting every night or morning before the show or anything. I mean, we start these shows and shoot from the hip. I mean, that, in my opinion, that's sort of, I think that's one of the good things about this show. It's not canned. It's just, we're just fans, BVD, me and you. I tell people that all the time. We're just college football fans and sports fans, and we just come on here and talk. So we don't prepare this stuff ahead of time. But I always go on ESPN.com in the morning, so that I can get people in the comments section that go, he gets his sport news from ESPN. Meanwhile, every single person watching this show loves ESPN. The only thing is they also love bashing ESPN in the comment section. But I couldn't believe it when I saw this. When I saw that article, I honestly couldn't believe it. It's just the NCAA has such a bad reputation that when they do something that seems so obvious, you're like, that can't. I thought, is it April 1st? Because you'll see some fake articles get posted every April 1st. I'm like, did they really do this? Well, I guess they really did it. And so I say hats off to the NCAA. My knowledge on this subject is surface level at best for now. All I know is what I just read here in the last 5 minutes. But it appears to be, I think, the right thing to do. So that's my opinion on that.
Speaking of April 1st, we got that to look forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, April Fools. Let's talk about that a little bit later. I'm wondering if anybody has some good April Fools stories that either they've pulled on somebody or maybe has been pulled on them. Let me run through the announcements real quick. This is the morning show with Uncle Lou and BBD. Sorry for the late start this morning, but I am here now. So appreciate you guys being patient this morning. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday usually with the coronavirus situation and a lot of people being either out of school or out of work or whatever the case. Last week we did it 5 days. We're doing it 5 days this week, and we'll play next week the same way we played this week, which is we'll just kind of see where things stand on Monday and make a decision there. But So Monday through Friday this week, 8 a.m. with me and BVD, and we usually have a third person on with us, and that's the case today too. We'll have Big Dawg Brett on. Brett will add you on here in just a few minutes when I get through with the announcements. Don't forget about Uncle Lou After Dark and that too, every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. Now that is a college football show, BVD. Did you know that?
I've been told.
Yeah. That Uncle Lou After Dark, what comes on every Tuesday and Thursday night at 10 p.m., that is a college football show. So we'll talk more about the college football and specifically on that show. It's not that we don't talk about it here, but this is more of a hodgepodge. This show is like the potpourri of YouTube, BVD.
It's kind of like
a box of chocolate.
In some ways, it's like my channel anytime. Never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, BVD, your BVD's night streams, and a lot of you watch them already. If you haven't, you should check them out. But BVD's, especially if you like the morning show, BVD's night shows are a lot like my morning shows, kind of, or our morning shows, kind of. A little like he said, a little bit of everything. And tonight on the night show too is and BVD. A lot of people have been waiting on this matchup for a long, long time. But tonight on Uncle Lou After Dark, we have the championship game of the playoffs that we're running over there. The playoffs is called "We Really Wish We Could Win a Natty This Century" playoffs. And of course, what that is the four best teams over the course of the last 20 years who have not won a national title over the last 20 years. Georgia, Oregon, Wisconsin, Notre Dame were the final four. Michigan was sort of first team out. They were a bubble team, as it were. BVD.
A bubble team.
Yeah. So Georgia played Notre Dame in the first game and beat them in a close one. Oregon then beat Wisconsin in a game that really wasn't that close, regardless of what the score said. So Georgia is playing Oregon tonight on LouTube, Uncle Lou After Dark, in the championship round. And the winner will be crowned the best team this century that has not won a national title. So be sure and check that out if you are looking for something to do between 10 and 11 o'clock tonight. Right
Michigan, Michigan will not be a bubble team on the teams that cannot beat Ohio State tournament coming up.
I believe they're in first place in that league, as it were, if memory serves, which I'm pretty sure that it does.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
May have to come up with some other kind of tournament after this one to get people through.
Yeah, it won't be hard because every time I do one of these tournaments on LouTube, there's about 100 ideas in the comment section, like, "Hey, do this one next, do that one next." So, and this is the third one we've done in this off season. There's one I do every single off season, and it's the worst of the worst. So what that is, as soon as the season is over, basically, I'll wait a couple of weeks maybe. But we decide. I don't come up with the teams for these tournaments either. We sort of decide together in the comment section during those night shows. But every single year I do the worst of the worst, where we decide on the 4 worst teams in all of the Power 5 from the previous season. So we do that one every single year, and then we always come up with a few others to do, and we may have to come up with a whole season's worth of fake playoff tournaments on LouTube this year. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm waiting on the we need an 8-team playoff simulated Uncle Lou tournament.
Yeah.
Tournament.
Somebody is doing a 64-team one on the internet right now. Is it that SG1 Sports or whatever people? Do you know who that is?
I do not. Is it a gamer or?
No, he's a college football guy. Mostly college football. I think he does a little bit on some other sports too, but mostly college football guy. But he's pretty popular too. I think he's got more subscribers than I do. But he's more along the mold of a R.J. Young, Mark Rogers, that kind of thing. He doesn't offer very many opinions. He's more of a And again,
Gotcha.
I don't know why I feel the need to say I don't like talking bad about other YouTubers, and I'm not talking bad about SG1, but I feel like somebody will take what I say and think I mean it in a bad way. That always concerns me. I hate talking bad about other unless it's one of the, unless it's somebody I'm trying to educate or teach a lesson to. But generally, like I don't, there's plenty of room on YouTube for everybody, no matter what type of content they want to make. So when I say he's this type or that type or more of this or more of that, it's not. It's not to say that that's not any good or that that's better or worse than what somebody else might do. I'm just trying to give people an idea of what his channel is. Oh, but you know what my main thing with him is, and I think I've said this before about other people. He's not on camera. He's that. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
know. I know that's dumb because like people have been listening to the radio for 100 years and you never get to see who's on the radio. But I don't know what it is. When I go to YouTube, I don't know why. I want to see who I'm listening to. That's all. That's it.
Yeah. I'm the same.
And I don't. Yeah. So now he has shown himself before, so it's not like you just don't know what he's. But I think it was only one time. But anyway, he knows his stuff. And he makes some good stuff that a lot of people like to watch. But he does a lot of simulations on that video game. He does a lot of that, and I think it was him that did a 64 team playoff tournament. It's either still going on or maybe it just ended. I think he simulated the entire March Madness. Imagine that.
I'm still just amazed at the number of people that are interested in a simulated sports game on YouTube.
Yeah.
I've actually watched more simulated football in the last 2 weeks on Lou After Dark, literally, than I have ever in my life.
Well, I've told the story a bunch of times about how I got started here on YouTube with my nephews and that, and I said, all they would do all day long would sit around and watch YouTube and play video games. Well, when they were watching YouTube, that's what they were watching, was other people play video games. And I remember thinking, what in the...
Yeah.
And they were literally watching people play games that they had. I'm like, so you're telling me instead of you actually sitting down and playing the game, you would rather watch on your phone someone else play the game? And it made no sense to me. Now that I've sort of been in the YouTube culture for 6 years or whatever, I sort of understand why that is now. That's a huge market or niche, whatever you want to call it, on YouTube, is people playing video games. And so I sort of get it now. And now that Lou Jr. has been in video game age for a few years, I notice him do it. And he'll watch people play and then he goes and tries to do what they do, that kind of thing. So as far as watching the simulated football games, I think a lot of people show up for those maybe just for the comment section. I don't know, but
probably.
Anyway, he's a smart guy, that SG1 Sports. You can tell from listening to him talk, but he knows his stuff. But he's not one of these yell and scream and, I think he has. I think he might have said who his team is, but I couldn't tell you right now. So it's not, he doesn't even. And that's another thing I don't particularly like. I don't know. I have issues, BVD. I don't know if you know that. I've got problems. I've got issues. I really do.
You're the only person on the internet with issues, so I'm glad you're willing to admit that.
I'm going to use Kirk Herbstreit as an example just because everybody knows who that is. But people complain nonstop that Kirk Herbstreit, he's just an Ohio State homer. You know why they say that? They say that because they know he went to Ohio State, played at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably an Ohio State fan.
And to me, probably the least homerish guy out there.
Yes.
Doing
Ohio State
that.
fans hate this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone else, they say the same thing about Kirk Herbstreit every time. He's just a homer. I don't agree that he's a homer, but I do like to know Reese Davis went to Alabama. That's valuable information to me. I like to know that,
Did he play any sports at Alabama, or was he just a?
You've seen? Stop it.
Well, no, I mean he could have played like okay, never mind.
So anyway, but
Chess.
to me, there's a difference, and I know maybe this isn't fair because YouTube is so huge now. So maybe this isn't even fair or accurate or whatever, but there's just a difference to me between somebody actually doing this kind of thing professionally for ESPN or ABC or whatever. I've said I go to YouTube to hear from regular people, fans, like me and you. And again, that's not to say that people who do it the other way are doing it wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But that's just not why I go to YouTube. And like I have no clue. If I watch somebody and I can't see who I'm listening to and I have no idea what team they're a fan of, I don't like that. Now, to a lot of people, it doesn't matter. And there's actually a lot of people out there, and there's probably some benefit for SG1 not broadcasting the fact that he's a whatever fan. I'm Clemson, whatever. I don't know. I'm just making it up. Because if once you do that, there's a certain percentage of people who watch you who, no matter what you say, their comment is going to be, well, of course you said that. You're a Clemson fan.
To your knowledge, he's never claimed a team.
Again, I don't watch every second of all of his videos just because it's not my cup of tea, but I do watch a lot of his videos. I mean, I appreciate what he does. He puts a lot of time, effort, and energy into his channel, and it's very successful. But I'm not an expert on SG1, but to the best of my knowledge, like I said, I don't know. I've been watching him for 2 or 3 years. Not every video, though, but still, that's a long time to be tuning in and out to somebody, and I have no clue who he's a fan of. Again, that doesn't matter, and I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong. This is purely what I look for in a college football YouTube, and that might go to my argumentative nature. I like to know, okay, what points can I use to argue with this person? In the call-in show, I want to know 2 things when someone calls in. What do you want me to call you when I yell at you? And who's your team so that I can, embarrass you? That's what I want to know.
Speaking of yelling, I'm really holding back the urge to yell at Mr. Jesse James in the comments right now.
Ooh, I haven't even pulled the comments up yet. What's going on in there?
Jesse James said, so are we getting an extra 30 minutes today since BBD overslept?
Yeah, instead of ending at 9, we'll end at 9:30. Is that good with you, BBD?
That's great with me.
All right. Shout out to everybody in the comment section. And I'm fixing to add Brett, too, so if you're listening, we'll be calling you here in just a second. Snake Spence, what's up, buddy?
Kind of along the same lines of what we've been talking about. I've noticed, and I don't know if you've noticed this or not, there are a lot of, at least around here, local reporters, journalists, whatever, what have you, radio guys that are now firing up YouTube channels. Like we have a lot of local Knoxville media, that you hear on the radio and even see on TV sometimes that now have YouTube channels.
Yeah.
And some of them are doing well. Some of them are not.
I don't blame them. I'll tell you the one thing, and I've been beating this drum for a long time. One thing that does make me mad about YouTube, you can't pull up. If you watch any amount of YouTube at all, there's a few things you've seen pop up in your recommended feed, no matter what types of videos you normally watch. Mm-hmm. The Jimmy Kimmel Show channel. The Will Smith channel. Do they really need YouTube's help? No. Does YouTube really need to artificially inflate those 2 people's numbers by constantly pushing them to the top of every single algorithm? No.
Those guys probably need the money, Lou. I mean, let's be honest.
If by those guys you mean YouTube, then yeah, because that's why they do it. That's why they do it. The advertisers know what they're going to get from those 2 people, and they don't mind advertising with them. There's no risk involved. It's safe for YouTube to do it. There won't be any blowback. But if YouTube goes that route where they're looking to just promote already professionally produced programming, YouTube's going to lose some of its luster for the average person, I think.
Yeah, they probably don't give a shit either.
No, they don't, because they make more money off of one Jimmy Kimmel video than they do off 6 months worth of Uncle Lou videos. So they definitely don't care.
Do you ever watch any of Jimmy Kimmel's videos?
No, and here's why. I do like Jimmy Kimmel. Like, I think the Man Show was up there with like the Chappelle Show in terms of like groundbreaking, like genius comedy. But first of all, I'm rarely up that late watching TV, 11:30, like when his real show comes on. So it doesn't translate for me over to YouTube. And if I am up that late, I prefer Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon's great. I don't know that I've ever watched a single episode of Jimmy Kimmel on TV, but I've watched some clips of the stuff he does on YouTube, just because that way all you have to watch is the clips of it, you know.
Yeah.
I like the thing where he goes out, he sends somebody outside on the street to ask kids certain things. Like he asked the kids one night to explain adultery. Stuff like that is really funny.
I'm going to add Brett in, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Let's see. Hopefully it might even work.
Can you hear me, Lou?
Yeah, we hear you. What's up, buddy?
All right, what's going on, guys?
All right, let me add BVD back. Hold on.
All right.
All right, I think we're all in now. What's up,
Yep,
Brett?
I'm here.
What's up, buddy?
How's it going, guys?
What's up, Brett?
DVD. It's been a while, buddy.
Yeah, it has.
It has been a while. It's like a family reunion. Well, no, actually, it's nothing like a family reunion. I don't think we're all wearing the same T-shirt right now. But Brett, we give everybody an opportunity. Introduce yourself to those that might not know you. You can give as little or as much information as you want. Don't forget to pimp yourself. If there's anything that you want to pimp or promote, now would be a good time to do it. But the floor is yours. Take as little or as much time as you want. Go.
I appreciate it. Good morning and whatnot to all you fine people, and hello to the rest of you. My name's Big Dawg Brett. I started on YouTube a couple years ago after watching Uncle Lou's, some of his fan reaction videos. Got a big kick out of it. Thought it would be fun to do. Kind of got to know some of the YouTube community and Volunteer Roadshow, BVD. And one guy I haven't seen in forever, which is TJ LSU Dad. I haven't seen that guy in a hot minute.
Haven't missed a thing.
But yeah, I mean, I love college football and taking to YouTube to explore all the other different avenues of talking to different fans from different places. And I've had a great time doing it. So if you guys want to check me out, I'm over on YouTube at Big Dawg Brett. DAWG is how you spell it. And I'm also currently writing a weekly article for my hometown newspaper. So,
I didn't know
Worth
that.
County
A journalist.
We have an actual. This is like twice in the last 7 days we've had a real life journalist on the show, BVD.
This one actually probably gets paid though.
I think you have to be able to spell journalist to be considered one, though. So
Right. Geez, we're really. I mean, BVD has had Travis Stevens on, former Tennessee player, over on his channel last week. He's got some other former players lined up. Now, if one didn't know any better, one might assume that someone that is interviewing former players would be like, wow, he must be like a big-time journalist. But and then we've had two actual print journalists on. So this is really ramping up here.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys are deep into the sarcasm.
We can tell by the tone of Brett's voice that he is an adult journalist.
I can't say how excited I was. I actually got a phone call from a guy I went to high school with, and he asked me if I wanted to write the article for my hometown newspaper. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. And then he tells me, he goes, yeah, I need it to be somewhere between 1,100 and about 3,000 words. And I go,
Jesus.
okay, let me see what I can do. So I sat down and I typed and typed and typed and typed and typed, and I got somewhere around about 600 words, and I went, I am in deep trouble.
Yeah, because I'm going to be honest with you. The average Uncle Lou commenter types about 1,600 words per episode here on
Some
YouTube.
of which are even repeat words.
Yeah, and yeah, no doubt about
One
it.
of the really
the articles that you write, are they available on? Does that newspaper have an online version?
They do have an online version, but I believe the newspaper, as most newspapers nowadays are, is subscription based. So, and I don't think it's very much. I think it's like $5 a year or something low. It's not a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know a single person on planet Earth who pays for a digital newspaper subscription.
I don't either, but I know they have a local, like, hard copy printed newspaper that they sell locally, but I don't know a whole lot about the online version. I should probably look into it, but I typed the article, and 9/10 of what I go over in the article is stuff that I talk about on the show. So if you tune into the show on a regular basis, it's nothing groundbreaking you're going to miss.
Well,
how much of these articles are fact-based?
That's what I was going to ask.
Or are they opinion?
Are these op-eds, or are these like?
Is this like is this Dear Big Dawg Brett section, like Dear Abby, or?
So, if you're willing to give me a second, I'll actually pull up what I wrote last week, and I'll give you a little snippet out of that just to give you a feel for it. Welcome back to In the Doghouse with Big Dawg Brett. Hope one out there is doing well. Today's article is going to be a bit different. Usually we go through the ins and outs of the sports world and cover what's new and what you may have missed, but with all the changes related to the virus, most activities are at a standstill. I hope every person is doing their best to take the proper precautions, and it kind of goes into that. That was last week's, to give you an idea. But if I drop back to, say, week 2, I think week 2 is a little better. The Bulldogs assigned 25 players to the class as opposed to the 24 from last year. By picking 8 native players, this class has almost 1/3 that came from in-state. This is up from last year where only 6 came from within its borders. UGA has continued to focus on recruiting nearby talent. UGA has long been one of the best places in the country to find elite talent. I often like to compare ourselves to our neighbors on the southern border, especially when there's a reason to brag. That's right, I'm talking about the Florida Gators. And while their head coach Dan Mullen has moved the team up the 2020 rankings from number 8 to last year's number 9 spot, the important detail is that the talent gap at Georgia continues to grow. So that should give you an idea.
Yeah. I would be curious to know if you went on YouTube and yelled that article. I would be curious if more people would watch that than would read the article.
That's a great idea.
Hey, Georgia signed 25 players, number 1 class. Whee! That's opposed to the 24 from last year. Get on your knees, Dan Mullet. That kind of thing. I would be curious to know the numbers breakdown there. But anyway, that's a research project for another day. I tell you what we should do. You know what I might do? And I don't really care. You newspaper can sue me. I'm not worth that much. I'm going to start taking all the articles that you write, and then I'm going to make a video where I just yell them.
Sounds good.
And I'll credit you, and I'll credit you in the video and that.
You going to yell all 1,100 words?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Phew.
Yeah. I wouldn't. How many words do you think the average hype and hate video is? Those things are 25 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I have 0 notes when I hit record on those hype. And you can name me a team right now, and in 30 minutes I can have a 25-minute hype and hate video recorded for you, and it will be full of valuable information. Anyway, no, that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool that you get to do that for your hometown paper. Do you get any hate mail? That's part of the fun.
Yeah, I get all kind of. I get this. Here's the interesting thing, though, is YouTube. To go in and build a YouTube account takes, I don't know, 5 minutes or whatever it takes. But to make a fake email takes about 15 seconds.
Right.
So I get emails that just numbers and letters. You're just a Georgia bleep, 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 bleep. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you basically have to be in the state of Georgia, in a very small area in the state of Georgia, to even have received this article or attention to it. So if you hate this place this much, how are you buried so deep in it?
That's a good question. Anybody ever sent you an 1,100-word thesis about why they're unsubscribing from you?
Not 1,100 words, maybe 200. And after the first 2 sentences, I'm unsubscribing from you. I'm pretty much done at that point.
Well, you're well on your way. Now, how much time went by? Okay, because you said you rattled off a list of college football YouTubers that you used to watch. Or still watch or whatever, and that sort of inspired you to make your own channel. How long did it, like, how much time went by between, like, watching those people and going, damn, anybody can do this? and then making your own channel and reality setting in? Like how long did it take you to go, okay, this is a little harder than I thought it would be?
So I've definitely got to admit there was a learning curve. But if I can pretty much give you the exact date of kind of the timeline of how it started out. So at that particular time, I was working for a company, and it required a lot of driving. Like it was requiring a lot of driving. So in October of 2007, actually, it was the beginning of October, right at the end of September. I'm sorry,
that's generally when the beginning of October happens.
Yeah, I know. I knew that was coming. Hashtag Here we go. So if we go back to late September when Georgia played Tennessee, and Georgia shut Tennessee out, I remember watching that Uncle Lou video, and it was just one of the funniest things I'd ever seen. And I went, wow, that's really cool. I want to do something like that. And then Georgia goes out next week, and they demolished Vanderbilt. And I think the video after that I made was about Missouri. And we went out and crushed Missouri. And I went, man, this is fun. I think I made my first video on my phone. And then I started getting excited about, I've got a couple extra laptops. Let me download some software, and this can't be that hard. And holy crap. I found out very quickly that I was way out of my element. So
yeah.
It took me about a week to figure out I was in over my head.
Just admit it. You watched Uncle Lou run around the backyard in his underwear chasing an invisible chicken, and you went, if this dumbass can do it.
Yes, that was one of them. The other one was watching Carolina Jackpot lose his mind.
Oh, man, I talk about that all the time. Listen, I don't care if you hate Carolina Jackpot. I don't care if you hate South Carolina Gamecocks. Do what a lot of people do to me. Subscribe to him and then just wait on his team to lose. His post-game reaction videos, in my mind, are the best on YouTube. It's not even close. He blows me away. Some people love my rants and stuff after games, win or lose. You watch a Carolina Jackpot video after a South Carolina loss, it is 100% pure gold. The thing is, you've got to be subscribed to him, and you got to have the notifications turned on, because he gets so carried away in a lot of his post-game rants that he ends up having to delete the video not very long after he posts it. So you've got to catch him quick. Yeah, but they are absolute gold. I love
I've never heard of the guy.
Oh, BBD.
What?
You got to check him out. You got to check him out.
You're missing
BBD.
out.
Yeah, he's pretty entertaining. Now, so
it's
like
not the guy that was driving in his car bitching about you one morning, was it?
Yeah, he looks like Butterbean.
Yeah, he always does like the scratch off videos of like the South Carolina lottery tickets.
Yeah, that's where the name Jackpot came from. His channel started as a lottery channel, but and I'm actually friends with him on Facebook too, and we're in a couple of sports groups together and that kind of thing. But his post game react, like I said, I don't care. Maybe you've seen 100 of his videos and you're like, this guy's boring as hell. if all you do is watch his post, it's worth subscribing to his channel. Every single post game video is the best post game video I've ever seen. It's unbelievable. The guy is an absolute lunatic.
We'll see how well those videos go.
Yeah, he's why I watch college football YouTubers on YouTube. And again, that's not to say that anyone else is doing it wrong, because there's a lot of people who love to see a guy sit down and just feed them vanilla ice cream for 30 minutes. There's a lot of people that like that. I want to see a guy lose his mind, and that's what you get every single time with Carolina Jackpot on his post-game reaction videos. They're absolute gold.
Yeah, he's hilarious. But I will say that I've been very impressed and surprised at how well, especially YouTube content creators, they kind of mesh together and help each other out. You've helped me out a ton. Volunteer Roadshow's helped me out a ton, and there's some other YouTubers out there that I've talked to about camera equipment and whatnot. Everybody's always been real helpful. The moment they find out whether you've got 1 subscriber or no subscribers or 20,000, they don't care. You talk to those guys and everybody's willing to help. You will find almost no industry where that happens uniformly like that. And I don't know if it's college football or if it's YouTube, but it seems to be the YouTube content creator community is just really awesome.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Now, like with any rule, there are a few exceptions to what you just said.
Right.
BVD can rattle off a few of them. But generally speaking, you're right. And I say it all the time because I get a lot of emails from people that start out basically the same way. I'm looking to start a YouTube channel. What advice do you have? And I don't ever shortchange them. I give everybody the best advice I can every single time. There are plenty of there's no sense in being – I mean, people act like what they do on YouTube is some sort of government secret. Some people do. Or you know, there's another guy I watch. I won't even mention his name. He's not a college football guy. He does regular news. And people will ask him all the time in his streams, what's your setup? What camera do you use? What mic do you use? Blah, blah, blah. And he says the same thing every time. I can't tell anybody that because then they'll just go out and copy what I'm doing. Listen, it's no government secret what you're doing, Hoss. You've got a green screen behind you, and you've got a microphone. And you've got a $1,000 camera. Okay, so do a million other people that are on YouTube right now. It's no secret what you're doing. I don't understand.
All the best equipment in the world won't do you jack shit of a bit of good if you're not at least somewhat. And I don't even want to use the word entertaining. If you can't get on camera and at least make 1 or 2 people laugh or cry or think or something, the best equipment in the world's not going to help you out one bit.
Yeah, and
that's
always
people.
The hard part for me when I'm handing out advice to people, because I'll usually end my when someone reaches out to me for advice or whatever. I tell them what I think. I think you should. I think you should upload on a schedule. It doesn't have to be every day. Maybe you only have time to upload 1 video a week. If that's the case, it should be uploaded at the same time every single day, every week. So if
that's been the case.
You're off every Wednesday, you should upload videos every Wednesday at 4:00. People should not have to guess. Why do you think people love the TV guide on TV?
Tells you what's on, when it's on, and how it's on.
Right. What if you had to guess when the next? What's that show you keep talking? You won't shut up about, BVD.
The Resident.
What if you had to guess when that was coming on every week? I mean, so some of it is common sense, but it's just things you tend to overlook. But I tell people that all the time. Upload on a schedule. Doesn't matter. If you're able to upload every day and that's what you want to do, great. But upload around the same time every day. If it's twice a week, make it the same 2 days, same 2 times, whatever, and be consistent with it. Pick a niche or whatever, And I made that big mistake in the beginning. I started a YouTube channel and had no idea what it was going to be about, and shocker, no one was watching. You have to pick something. There's, you got college football, cars, sewing, whatever the case. Pick something, stick with it. And then the equipment, But here's the thing about the equipment. For the first 4 years I had this channel, my equipment was a cell phone. That was it. I recorded every video with a cell phone. I edited every video with a cell phone, and I uploaded every video with a cell phone for about 4 years.
That's all you really need.
That's all you have to have. Now, the personality and the thing that you mentioned there, that's always the hard part, because I end all these advice emails basically the same way, and I say, listen, you could inherit $50,000 tomorrow, and you could go out and you could have the best YouTube studio in all of YouTube with high-end equipment all the way around. If people watch you and they don't get some sort of perceived value, they're not coming back. Whether it's entertainment, humor, news, facts, information, or some sort of combination of those things, all the equipment in the world won't make the world's worst YouTuber a great YouTuber. You know what I mean? So, and that's something that nobody can help anybody with. You either have it or you don't. Now, you can get better. I mean, go back and watch the first year's worth of videos I made, and then watch the videos today. I'm way more comfortable on camera now and all that kind of stuff than I was then. So it's not that you have to be perfect from day one, but you've got to be, there's got to be something about you that pulls people in, whether it's, like I said, entertainment, humor, facts, information, or some sort of combination of that. But there's some things you can control and some things you can't. You can control that you uploaded a video today at noon, and then you didn't upload another video until 2 Thursdays after that at 9 at night. Like, you can control that. People need to know when they can expect a video from you. That's like just the bare minimum, I think.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the great things about college football is that you're going to have a game, and you do your videos during your game or right after your game, and then I usually do a live stream, and we talk about what happened after the game, and I normally go through halftime. But the upcoming week, I try to release it on Wednesday or Thursday, my prediction for the coming up week. And so that kind of sets a schedule. But the down season, I got to admit, I struggle to get stuff out on time. But as far as equipment goes, I started out with a cell phone, and then I started looking into camera equipment, and I went, my goodness, these people are out of their minds.
Yeah, that's how I was, because I knew nothing about, I don't know that I've ever owned a camera until a few years ago, and I could not believe.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the camera's, that's great, but what about the lenses? Oh, my Jesus Christ. You got lenses that cost $3,000 and $4,000.
Yeah. Well, I thought
those are cheap lenses.
Yeah, here's the thing that gets me is, like, if you go into YouTube right now and you type in a search for cheap camera for YouTube streaming, there's going to be a guy, there's 4 or 5 guys. They're going to do a video, number 1 and number 10, and they're going to tell you what these cameras do and the chipsets and the lenses and the blah, 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 and all the bells and whistles. And then they're going to tell you this camera is really affordable at only $370.
Yeah.
I'm like, $370 is more than a car payment, sir. That's not cheap.
Right.
So my entire setup, which I got a family and 3 kids, so my finances, I don't have unlimited free spendable money here. But the stuff that I've got, I'll be honest with you, I got all this stuff off Facebook Marketplace. I got my webcam, which is a 1080p webcam made by Logitech. It's a C910. I bought it for $20.
Yeah.
My Yeti Snowball microphone, bought it for $25. The lighting that I have, with the exception of the light bulb, I got for free. The light bulb that flickers, I got from Five and Below. All the decor that I have behind me, I bought at either yard sales or was given to me. So all of my stuff is about as budget compact as you can get it. But for me to take the next step and to get a better quality camera or whatever, which I don't need a better microphone, I'm perfectly happy with this one, but it's going to cost me $500. And I'm like, I think we just going to keep rolling like I am for a while.
Yeah, I didn't start doing anything like that until this channel was turning a significant profit, because I couldn't justify it to, I mean, I married 2 kids, same thing. And it wasn't until, I started I started making some money that I was able to spend any kind of money really on the channel. It was hard, it was hard for me to justify doing it before that. But and the thing is that there's the bare minimum of what you need, and then there's like the mountaintop of what you wish you had. And
Right.
I don't think there's anything wrong with like setting a goal of like, okay, eventually I want to have all this high end stuff. It doesn't mean you have to go out and buy it all right away. I mean, if the only reason you're not starting a YouTube channel today is because you don't have $1,000 camera, $2,000 worth of lights, a $500 microphone, and
wasting time,
and a $3,000 computer with 3 monitors, you're just hurting yourself. The best advice I give anybody about starting a YouTube channel is just start it. Start doing it.
Yep.
Because almost no matter what, your first certain amount of videos are going to be garbage.
Yep.
Unless you've done this before, maybe you come from the radio world or the TV world, and so you sort of maybe have a leg up. But your average person that starts a YouTube channel they could be a millionaire. Their first certain amount of videos are going to be garbage, whether you spent no money and are just using a phone, or whether you spent $10,000 and have all this high end stuff. Your first certain amount of videos are just going to be garbage because you're learning how to go.
Mm-hmm.
You're learning how to edit. How far away should I be from the camera? Is the mic too loud? Is it not loud enough? What about background noise?
Is the mic on?
Yeah. Yes. Hashtag professional. Yes. So
I've recorded. I don't know how many videos without the mic being on. I have to go back and redo the whole video.
Yeah, just put hashtag professional in your description of every video. I found that it really helps. I'm pretty lucky now. I'm pretty happy with the setup I have out here now. But if someone gave me $5,000 right now, I guarantee you I could find something to improve out here. Oh yeah, I really need a new whatever. So the point is,
air conditioner.
There's always going to be something that's next that you want, but you don't have to have all that up front. I used a cell phone for 3 or 4 years. The first camera I bought was used too. I can't remember if I found it off Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or what it was, but it was about 3 years ago. I went out and bought a used Canon T5i DSLR. And it took me, I'm not lying, it probably took me 30 days before I filmed a video with that camera because I did not know how to use it. If you've never had one of these, a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, it's, I was completely lost. But
even the simplest one of those things can be pretty difficult to get right.
Right. And even once I got it figured out, the only thing I had figured out was how to set the camera up for my specific. I would sit it in the same place with the lights in the same place and the settings a certain way on the camera, and it worked. But if you'd have told me to take that same camera and go outside and film Lou Jr. playing soccer, I wouldn't have been able to do it. It would have looked like crap. I mean, there's so much that goes into the ISO and. Anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I figured it out, and I had that camera for I think 2 years, and then I recently got this new one that I use now in December, and I did buy it new, but it was only because the camera itself was pretty new. It hadn't been out that long, so the used ones that were out there weren't really saving me much.
Right.
And I ended up buying it off of Amazon sometime during the holiday season, so sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I don't remember exactly when, and it was on sale at the time that I bought it, so I felt like I was getting a pretty good deal. But even with that, I did. Amazon will let you do if
payments.
If the item is over a certain amount of money, Amazon will let you split that out. So I think I did 6 months or something, interest free. But you don't have to have all that. The microphone I use now is only the second microphone I've ever had in all the years I've been on YouTube. So it's not like I'm going out and buying a new microphone every 6 months. Are there better microphones than this? Yes, this is like $100 microphone. There's people that.
Where did you get your boom stand, Lou?
Amazon.
I, I need your assistance on that thing, man. I ordered a boom stand and I thought it was
Well,
going to
don't
be
you
pretty
have a
good.
Yeti?
I do.
Yeah, if you can forget it. That's too heavy.
That's what I'm finding out.
It's too heavy. The
Yeah,
first mic I ever had was a Yeti, and I had to just set it on the desk in front of me. You can't get a. I mean, you can, but the springs in the boom arms are not strong enough to support that thing. Even the ones on Amazon that say it will, they won't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this thing I got, man, it's like a freaking Fisher Price boom thing.
Well, that was the first one
Yeah,
I
you-
bought too. Like a newer was the name of it, or something off of Amazon
Yeah.
for like $14.99, and
Yeah, that
it's
stuff
just
is. There's a reason it's $14.99.
Yeah, let me turn the camera on and show people. But the way these mic arms are, see how it just flops around. But they're spring. There's all these springs in them, and when you put a Yeti on here, this is what if I were to put a Yeti on here right now, this is what would happen. It would just drop down. Those Yetis are just too heavy. This boom arm I have now is a good one though. It's made by Rode, Rode, and they make they're an audio visual.
They make
tech
great
company.
mics.
They make mics and all the accessories and some other stuff too. And this one works great. It swivels 360 degrees up, down.
See,
left,
that's
right,
what I
which way
want.
you want to go. It's great. And like when the show's over out here or whatever, and I'm just working on the computer, I just flip the thing up. It goes away. I can get it out of the way for when I'm filming or whatever. It's great. But
How much was that thing?
I think it was about $100.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think it was about $100.
See,
But again, this isn't the first one I went out and bought. And now just because this is $100, this won't hold a Yeti either. So when I got this microphone instead of the Yeti, I said, okay.
I
This
still
doesn't
don't
weigh
see
nearly as
anything on the video. part.
Oh, I never put it up. Sorry. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Forget it. You just missed me doing this a bunch of different ways.
Sorry.
That's it.
Never mind.
Nothing to see.
So
here.
what kind of microphone are you using now?
This is an Audio Technica AT2020. This was given to me actually. Somebody sent me 2 of these a couple of years. I got a big box in the mail. This is the weirdest thing. About 2 years ago, this huge box shows up on my front porch. I'm talking huge. It could have been a dresser in there that you had not already put together, but you know how the dressers you get from IKEA or whatever, and you have to put them together. I mean, it was a big box. I opened it up. Inside the box, there was 2 of these microphones, all the XLR cables. And I wish I could show this thing. I don't know that I can. This soundboard that I use.
I've seen the soundboard.
Okay, that was in there. This guy just sent me all this stuff. He said he used to be in I don't know if he was in the radio business or the podcasting business, or he was in some sort of something where he needed all this stuff, and then he suddenly found himself in a situation where he didn't need it. And so he just sent it to me. I used to do the call-in shows the same way a lot of other people do them now. You just hold your phone up to the thing. I did that for years. I did that for years and years and years. And he used to watch those shows, and he was like, "Man, you need a better setup or whatever." And I was like, "Well, first of all, I'm #professional, would have no idea how to do it. Second of all, it sounds expensive." And literally like a week later, this stuff showed up in the mail, and he just sent me all I couldn't believe it, but. So that's how I ended up with this microphone. But like even now, in fact, we were watching TV the other night. I forget what channel it was. Did a couch concert. Did you guys hear about this or see that? It was everybody's locked down or whatever, and everything's canceled, including concerts. Well, they got like 20 or 25 artists together, and basically they went from artist's house to another artist's house, and the artist would play one song right there in their living room. Type of thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool actually, and I forget who it was now. Was playing the guitar and singing, and I recognized the microphone they were using because it's one that I've been wanting for a long time, but it's expensive. I think it's $400 or $500, and it came on TV, and I was like, "Oh, Mrs. Lou." Because my birthday's in May, and then Father's Day is in June. I was like, Father's Day. birthday combined. I want that microphone right there. And she was like, I don't know anything about microphones. I'll never be able to find it. I was like, nah, say no more, fam. And I told her what the name of it was. And she was like, okay. And then like 5 minutes later, she looks over and she goes, my God, that thing's $500. She had looked it up on her phone, because I think I told her, you know how you tell your wife when you want something and you know it's too expensive for what they normally would spend or whatever. So anyway, when I first told her, she was like, well, how much is it? $1,000? It's like, no, it's probably $200, maybe, maybe $250. But I knew it was $400 or $500. I've been looking at this thing for a year. But you tell them $200 or $300. And they sort of go, well, that's a lot of money, but okay. And then when they find out it's $400, it's like, well, that's only $100 more than what I was planning on spending anyway. Whereas if I just would have told her right up front it was $400, she would have been like, you're out of your damn mind. So I don't know. I don't know if she'll get it for me or not, but I definitely planted the seed. Anyway,
I'll tell you, one of the things I've really wanted to get, which I haven't got yet, and probably most of the viewers won't even know what it is, but it's called a stream deck.
Oh yeah.
I've always wanted one of those.
Yeah. It would make life easier.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, whenever you're streaming a live show, having a stream deck is a little extra attachment you can plug into your computer, and you can preset transition, changes, sounds, shifting the camera around rather than having to do it manually. It's just kind of nice to have.
Yeah. I mean, if you took this same show that I do, as basic as it might be, if this exact same show with this exact same setup and all that was on even public access TV instead of YouTube, there would be 5 people on the other side of that camera doing the things that I have to do here.
Yeah.
So you really learn to appreciate, like, you hear all these terms like production engineer or sound engineer and lighting consultant. And I'm just like, what? Why? It's you really figure it out real quick when you start the more in even just using OBS. If that's all you do, like BVD, I think you use OBS. If all you do is use OBS to stream live to YouTube, the amount of things that you can do on OBS and would have to keep up with, simple like these transitions, I'm listening to YouTube, bitch, and that, or fading in and out like this here. I mean, I have to do adjusting audio levels. There's 4 different audio levels I'm dealing with here. There's the audio level you guys get when you hear me talk. There's the audio level you get when you hear BVD. There's Brett's audio level, and then there's the music audio level if I were to turn the music on. Some of that is controlled here on the computer through OBS, but then I have this sound mixer over here. It's a 14-channel mixer. All 4 sounds have their own whatever it's called, so I'm having to constantly move things up and down. Like maybe Brett's a little too loud, I turn him down. BVD's not loud enough, I turn him up, whatever. You really learn to appreciate how many people it takes to put on even a basic show.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times before I even start a show, I turn all my lights on, I look at my camera, I adjust my camera settings, I say, okay, that looks good, and I adjust the size of the screen, and okay, OBS has moved this side of the way, I got to bring it back, do my transitions. So before I actually do even a 15 or 20-minute show, sometimes there's a 45 to an hour minute prep.
Yeah. I know.
Just for the equipment stuff.
I know, and that's exactly why today's show didn't start till 8:30 for that exact reason. I overslept by about 20 minutes this morning. Now that doesn't mean I got up at 8:05 and ran out here and was on the air at 8:30. I mean, I got up at like 7:20 instead of 7 or something. But and then I make the coffee, I get dressed, and I come out here, and. Is it possible to just hit one button on YouTube and go live and start talking? Yes, but again, that's not how you get a live stream that looks like this one, or what.
I had a question, Lou.
Yeah.
The yellow frames around our pictures.
Yeah.
Is that an actual frame, or is it a color?
It's a color source.
Okay, on that's what I thought. I just finally figured out how to do that the other night. I'm like, how the hell are these people putting all these frames? I'm searching all over OBS for frame this and frame that. I'm like, you know what? Screw that. I'm just going to use a color source.
Yeah, that's all.
And all
Yeah,
this time, that's all it is any damn way.
Yep.
Now, the next question,
Yeah.
the Uncle Lou logo on the bottom right-hand screen.
Uh-huh.
How do you do that? How is that?
Oh, that's done through YouTube. That's a YouTube
Yep.
setting.
YouTube.
They
Most people use a subscribe emblem.
YouTube will watermark all your videos, but you have to tell it that's what you want. I can't remember exactly where it is that you do that, especially now that they've gone to that YouTube Studio thing, but it's somewhere in your channel defaults. You know how there's a place on YouTube where you can type a description in, and it'll put that description in every video you upload, so you don't have to keep typing the same description. It's somewhere in that same tab or area. It's called like branding logo or watermark logo or something, and you can turn it off and on, and you can even choose whether you want it to stay on for like the entire video, or do you want it to just stay on for like 15 seconds at the beginning of the video, maybe 15 seconds at the end. I think I have mine set to just stay on all the time, but that's not an OBS or a live stream thing. That's done through the back end through your YouTube Studio.
And not everybody knows it, but that watermark has a purpose, and it's for people to click on it to subscribe to your channel. So if you're listening and you're not subscribed, click on the Uncle Lou icon, and that will subscribe you to the channel.
LIB, MR Ducks.
Never could teach that dog how to swim.
How many people knew that about the Uncle Lou watermark down there? I didn't.
Speaking of clicking on something and doing something, shout out to a few people here this morning who have hit that PayPal link in the description and supported the show directly this morning. We all appreciate that. Christopher Duncan, thank you, sir. He says he doesn't speak pineapple. Actually, what he says is, I don't speak pineapple, woo. I don't speak pineapple, woo. But
apparently, I don't either.
Appreciate you supporting the channel this morning, Mr. Duncan. Good to hear from you again. And of course, Celine Driver, probably definitely the most consistent. He's just good people. What else can you say? But he says, good on the NCAA for finally making an intelligent decision. It's the only thing they could do. Proof of the theory that even a broken watch is right twice a day. Good morning in that. I was surprised.
I do want to
by that.
I do want to point out though that this particular action by the NCAA is going to have a rolling effect for the next 4 years. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, because because even a freshman now gets an extra year of eligibility. So that, of course, 4 years down the road.
It's probably going to end up being a huge mess.
Probably. But they're extending the scholarship numbers. So, to me, that was the biggest issue, at least on the surface. When I heard the idea floated a few weeks ago, I was like, well, how are you going to manage that with scholarship numbers? Because let's say you've got we'll use baseball as an example, and I don't even know how baseball works with scholarships. But let's say you've got 8 seniors on scholarship baseball, and you go out and sign 8 freshmen to replace them. Well, if you give the seniors an extra year of eligibility, now your 8 scholarships over the limit. I'm like, how are they going to handle that? So, but they've already, they cleared that up in the article. They're going to.
I'll tell you the people that have really, the sports people that have really gotten screwed bad by this coronavirus, and it's the high school seniors that were depending on their senior year to showcase how much they've improved from their junior to the senior year, like the baseball. Even some of the basketball kids that made state championship tournaments that didn't get to compete in them. I really feel for those kids. You're not getting an extra year of high school,
It's certainly going to affect how these kids get their star ranking. So you probably aren't going to see as many 5-stars, because some guys take that entire senior season to develop into a 5-star player.
Yeah.
The other thing that's interesting that I don't think anybody has talked about is in college football, you have a travel roster limit of 70 people. So now that you're going to have more players on the team that are scholarship players,
well, it doesn't
are we
apply to
still going to be held? What's that?
It doesn't apply to football.
It doesn't apply to football?
No, because football
wasn't
wasn't
spring
canceled.
sports.
It's only just spring sports, yeah. Football has
well.
impact. Now, if something happens to the football season, maybe they go back and revisit that. But as of right now, this is just dealing with spring sports.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it would become
Learn something every day.
Yeah, it would become an even bigger mess in football just because of the numbers
I mean,
involved.
it still affects football, but just not the same. Because a lot of kids, the early enrollees that are going to be freshmen this coming football season, they missed out on really the entire reason they enrolled early, was for that spring practice.
Well, if you
I mean, it'll have some sort of effect, but just not
yeah,
the extra year
but the
effect.
NCAA has already floated the idea of giving them a couple extra weeks of practice if we get the all clear in time for them to do that. And yesterday, I noticed an article, but we never got around to talking about it. I'm going to see if I can find it on here again. Yeah. Now, when this ban first started, there was no contact allowed between coaches and players. They have made a new set of rules now involving virtual practices. Basically, coaches can FaceTime or Zoom. I think some of you might know what Zoom is. It's kind of like Skype, I guess.
Yeah.
But the coaches can hold quote unquote meetings with players, and they're allowed to even give players workout regimens or schedules or what. Now, clearly, this is not as good or nearly or the same as an actual practice, but the coaches are at least allowed to hold these meetings and give instruction some type of way. It's not going to make up for practice, but at least they're able to have some contact with them now. And I'm still hearing like July 4th as the drop dead date in terms of having a season or not. So, we're a ways away from knowing one way or the other, I think, what's going to happen with that. But there's still plenty of time, I think, to where we can have college football if this thing wraps up in the next couple of months. The concern is going to be if it comes back in the fall, which more and more of these medical experts, health experts, are starting to say that that's a real possibility, that we could get this thing under control by June or so, but then it could pop back off in, October or whatever.
I'll give you a prime example of what I was talking about with the high school football seniors. Billy Cole gives me a lot of shit on my channel about Tennessee signing giving a scholarship to a long snapper. Lou gives me shit about it. But a prime example is the guy that I'm talking about, who lives right here in my hometown. He's, signed to play for Tennessee this fall. Although he's not an early enrollee, he was still able to drive down to campus every weekend and work out with the team, and kind of get no pun intended, a leg up on the competition by being able to do that. So guys, it's not just long snappers. Obviously, there's other kids all across the country that are probably
shout out to
we're
Billy
doing
Cole.
that. Yeah,
I'm going to get a refill.
That can't do it. So that this thing is affecting so many people in so many different ways, man. I don't know if some of the people will ever recover from it. I mean, not even talking about the financial aspect of it.
Well, I did find a bit of good news from this whole thing that's been going on. There's a lady who has opened up a virtual pub on Facebook.
Really?
And on the surface, it sounds kind of corny. I get it. But they have almost 15,000 online customers, quote unquote, and they have a waiting list of almost 3,000 people.
How the hell does that even work?
They have all right. So when you go to a pub or you go to a bar, wherever you go, sometimes they'll have live music or quizzes or trivia or DJ sets or open mic or comedy night or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so they're doing that, and it has become so popular that the lady has had to kind of put together a team of mods, I guess you would say. They have bar staffers who talk to customers, and there's talent scouts or whatever to go find people to come in to do the virtual pub thing, and they even have bouncers that moderate that will kick people out of the club. So It's a really interesting idea. It's out of England, But I mean, obviously, if you speak English, it shouldn't be a big problem. But they've gotten a number of people from the United States, Canada, Spain, Italy, Australia, and obviously England.
So how is she making money off of it, or is she? Because obviously you can't sell somebody a drink over the internet, you know.
Right. I would imagine that it's got something to do kind of like with YouTube, where you get a certain number of views, or I mean, and I don't know if Facebook has a super chat or PayPal, or if she's getting people on a Patreon page or Twitch stream or what she's doing. But I mean, I'm sure that there's something involved as far as monetary goes. But it's just a really cool idea to get people to hang out together and kind of get that semblance of a regular environment back.
Yeah, it is. I do know you can get paid. I've heard on Facebook for streaming, Brett, but I don't know how. I don't even think Lou streams on Facebook, but I'm going to look into that and start trying to stream some on Facebook just to help grow the numbers.
Right.
I don't know how long you've been watching my channel, but only in the last 6 months have I kind of had a resurgence of giving a shit about my channel. I went probably 3 years where I just really gave up trying to grow my channel and was putting garbage content out, and my football videos weren't. I mean, I just got to where I didn't give a shit anymore, and that happens when your team sucks for 10 straight years. You know, it was all fun and had a lot of fun making them crow videos the first couple of years on YouTube, but after a while you get tired of losing all the time.
Well, I tell people all the time that if you see a Tennessee fan or you see a guy with that Tennessee tee, that is a real fan, because only real fans are still hanging around right now. And to see, when I see fans of a team that's been hurting for a while and they're still there, like, you got to respect that guy, because he's not in it for the W. He's in it for the team.
Right. Well, I mean, I've been a fan for over 40 years, and I've been a fan of the Arizona Cardinals since they were in St. Louis. So for somebody like me, it's not hard at all to stick with the team when they're doing bad. The people that impress me are the handful of young guys that are new Tennessee fans. It takes, I mean, there's the term bandwagon fan for a reason. You know,
right.
Most people don't generally jump on a shitty team and become a fan of them. You know, it's easy to start rooting for a winner. That's why we've got so many new Clemson fans, Alabama fans, you know, even Georgia fans probably got a lot of bandwagon fans, where you guys have been doing so good the last few years.
Speaking of fans, because this gets back to some of what we were talking about earlier about maybe you're considering starting a YouTube channel. Let me just give you an example here of some of what you're in store for should you choose to go that route. Now, a lot of you know a lot of you are friends with me on Facebook, on my real Facebook page. Now, some people find my real name and act like they've discovered Bigfoot. Meanwhile, Uncle Lou is literally attached to my real Facebook name. Like, my name on Facebook is literally Derek Uncle Lou Raycroft.
Right.
Like, does it appear to you that I'm hiding that information, sir? But anyway, so I get a lot of people on my personal Facebook page who are only there because they're a fan of what I do on YouTube. And that's fine. That's the whole point of me making and my personal Facebook page is public. It's not private. It's not closed. Literally anybody can create a Facebook account, fake or real, find me on Facebook and see everything I've ever posted. It's completely open and public. So this is what you have to look forward to if you choose to go this route. This Mensa student that goes by the name of Jack Davis on Facebook, which I have no idea who this person is, which tells me he's only on my Facebook page right now for one reason. He's been watching YouTube every day like he's supposed to. All right? I wasn't going to mention this because I didn't do this for the purposes of mentioning this on YouTube, but I made a post on Facebook last night at 8 o'clock. This is the post. I see a lot of posts from people about how essential they are. That's great news, but not everybody's that lucky. Comment down below or send me a private message if you're not essential and you've been laid off and you've missed a paycheck or two and I will pay your cable bill. Does that appear to be trolling? And
not on the surface.
And guess what? I got a bunch of messages. I picked the first one. I paid the guy's cable bill. Okay? I even posted a screenshot because people will say, oh, I bet he didn't really do it. So I even posted a screenshot in here in the comments of where basically the guy sent me a message. He's been out of work for like 3 weeks. He's got a child in school that's doing the homeschool thing, and their internet bill is due. So so I actually paid the internet bill, but that's because that's what he needed, not the cable. So I paid his internet bill. It was $109. I've got the screenshot in here. That's the whole point of the post. I was just trying to help somebody out. That's it.
Well, you know what they say. No good deed goes unpunished.
I wake up this morning to this comment from this Mensa student, Jack Davis. How are you going to pay someone's cable bill when you don't even have a job? I'm sure your wife wouldn't like the idea of you using her money to pay someone else's bill. So shout out to you, Jack Davis. I know you're watching. You're clearly watching. So I don't know if your parents are at work, Jack Davis. Send me a message, and I will pay your special education bill for this month. Okay, send me a message.
Is there any coincidence that the guy's first name is Jack because his last name is clearly off?
And this is just one example of what you get to deal with should you choose the YouTube route.
The one thing I have certainly discovered is it doesn't matter how kind you try to be or how PC friendly or whatever you want to call it. Somebody is always going to be upset, and somebody is always going to refer with either something profoundly inappropriate or racially charged. And it's just, after a while, you're just like, wow, it's so tired of seeing people that are that dumb that you can't even come up with anything original to insult me with.
And the thing is, and if anyone is friends with me on Facebook, you know this to be true. I make plenty of Facebook posts every single day for the sole intent and purpose of arguing. But
my favorite.
But they didn't. But they didn't go to one of those posts. No, they went to a post where all I'm trying to do is just pay it forward type of thing, help somebody out that needs some help, which I did. And this is this. Now there's a lot of other comments in there too that are very kind and positive. And I even asked people to if you're in a situation where you're able to maybe help somebody out, share this post. Maybe you can help out. I want to help out one of my friends. If you don't need help, if you're lucky enough to not need any help right now, then share this post and help out one of your friends on your Facebook page. And you get notified when someone shares your post. So a lot of people shared it. So a lot of people probably got helped yesterday through this post. Now, I was only able to help one. I wish I could help more. And I even said in the comments, maybe in a couple of weeks I can do this again and help someone else. I'm not made of money. I've got a 9-year-old and 11-year-old. My money's gone before I get it. So it's not like I'm rich or made of money, but there are people right now that are really hurting. These stimulus checks are probably at least a couple of weeks away from getting to people, and you're coming up on the first of the month. People have bills due, and, I can't save the world, and that's not what I'm trying to do. But, you go on here, you try to do something to help somebody out, and this is the thanks you get, some 9-year-old basement-dwelling troll still sucking on his mom's saggy titties. How you going to pay somebody's bill don't have a job?
Well, Jesus I can now understand why my old man used to get so irritated with me when I would talk when I was a young teenager.
Just ridiculous, man. and see, here's where I screw up. I should have read that and immediately blocked whoever that is. I went to their profile. It's a fake account. I went to the profile. So it's somebody who doesn't even have the balls to say whatever they said themselves, that kind of thing. But I should have just blocked that account and just went on about my business. But I have the right to do that, but I don't have the ability. Remember what's that comedian that said that? one of the guys from the Redneck Kings of
Have
Comedy, or whatever.
have the ability, but not the
He's
not the
what's the guy that drinks whiskey and smokes a cigar? He's on with Jeff Foxworthy all the time.
Ron White.
Ron White, yeah.
Yeah.
He talks about getting drunk at a bar and being outside. The bar kicked him out, and he's out in the street outside the bar, and the police roll up and they're trying to get. They say, "Look, man, just leave. Call a cab, whatever. Just leave. There's no sense in getting in any type of trouble." And Ron White's like, and I couldn't let it go. And I was mouthing off to the cop and blah, blah, blah. And, the cop finally sat me down and said, "Look, sir, you have the right to remain silent." I looked up at that cop and I went, "Ossifer, I may have the right to remain silent, but I do not have the ability." Yeah, that's the, they call me Tater Salad. That's that guy. Yeah. Ron White. He's funny.
Yeah, he's awesome. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your show here. I got to go take care of Mrs. Big Dog. She needs me to help with something, but I certainly wanted to thank you guys for having me on. It's been a blast. You guys are always fun to talk with and talk to and talk about, so we'll continue to do that. If you guys want to see me, come over and check me out, Big Dawg Brett. We've had Uncle Lou on the show a few times, and hopefully in the future here we'll get BVD on, and we'll see you guys over there. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you so
Brett.
much.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate it, Brett. Good talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, have a good one, buddy.
Yes, sir. Have a great day, guys.
See you, man.
All right, Big Dawg Brett. Brett, if you're listening, hopefully you are, type something in the comments section. That's the easiest way, at least to me, when I'm watching a video and I'm trying to find somebody's channel. The easiest thing to do is when that person makes a comment, if you just click on their name, it takes you to their channel. So if you guys want to check out Brett's channel, that would be an easy way to do it. Or you can just search Big Dawg Brett. You'll find it. But anyway, shout out to Brett for coming on this morning. That was pretty good. What'd you do yesterday, BVD? I know you had your show last night, but what'd you do?
After that, I finally finished Tiger King.
Oh.
And there's a whole lot of people on that show that need to be behind bars with Joe Exotic, I think.
Some real weirdos, ain't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but I found myself feeling bad for the guy. I know I'm not the only one because I've seen some Facebook and some other places where people, I don't know if feeling bad for the guy is the right way to put it, but he definitely deserves something for, trying to hire somebody to kill that woman. But it's kind of like the one guy said, who the hell would even entertain killing somebody for $3,000?
Well, you ever heard the expression, you get what you pay for?
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't, that zoo or whatever in Oklahoma was filled with a bunch of people who $3,000 was probably life-changing money.
Yeah, I mean, did you find yourself coming away from that hating that Jeff guy? I just wanted to punch that guy right in the face.
Yeah, there's certain, I mean, when you watch these documentaries, the people that make these documentaries are usually pushing an agenda. They don't come out and tell you. Now, so in my mind, the people that made this documentary, a couple of things are probably true about them. They're clearly anti-Carol Baskin.
Mm-hmm.
They're clearly anti-Jeff. And so it is strange to me that neither Jeff or Alan, the guy that was actually hired to kill Carol Baskin,
the bald guy, right?
Yeah. That
Jeff's right-hand man.
Neither of them ever faced any charges. It's not like they were charged but then turned state's evidence.
Yeah.
And if they were, that was completely left out. But it made it appear as though those two, the only person that was charged with any crime in that entire show was Joe.
Yeah.
And I get it that he sort of made himself a target, but, it's hard to watch that documentary and not think that Jeff and Alan both probably have committed a lot of crimes in their day. And
well, I mean, they're felons already.
Right.
They're already convicted felons.
Right.
Which, there's a lot of people out there that are convicted felons that we don't know about. And just like a lot of other things, there are different degrees, in my opinion. There are varying degrees of felons, But yeah, I came away with that actually feeling bad for old Joe Exotic, even though he clearly deserves to be sitting, in a prison cell, probably.
Yeah.
But so do a lot of other people on that show. And some of probably will before it's all said and done.
Yeah.
And I was glad Doc Antle got raided back in December.
Yeah, what a slimy human being he appeared to be, huh?
Oh man,
I would watch another I would watch another documentary where he was the main focus. He was sort of just on the periphery of this documentary. This was mostly Joe Exotic's
cocky
story.
Bastard, wasn't he?
Yeah, and that harem of women, and and like that place is in Myrtle Beach, and I talked about this. I had no idea these places existed. I had no clue. And that place is in Myrtle. Like, I've been to Myrtle Beach 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of that place, but the idea that there are roadside zoos with 200 tigers, I had no clue that was a thing. I had no idea that even existed.
I was telling you guys last night on my show about I think it might have been here yesterday morning, about this Bright's Zoo place up the road from where I don't know anything about them. They may be totally legit, so I don't want to say anything bad about this place. I do know I am going to go up there and check them out with a camera and see what they're all about, because I'm pretty sure their sign says X amount of exotic animals. And the stat that blew me away at the end of that show was, what was it, 5,000 to 10,000 captive tigers in America, and only 4,000 in the wild.
That surprised
me
too.
Insane.
Because I just had no idea that tigers were that close to becoming extinct. I had no clue.
Yeah.
And I definitely didn't know that there was more in captivity than there were in the wild. That fact was a shock to me.
I mean, the one thing that Antle said that is true, when I think it was either him or Joe One said, when an animal's becoming extinct, how do you help them grow? You mate them. That makes sense, but not like the way they were doing it.
That makes sense if you're mating them and then releasing them into the wild. Not that you're mating them. And I talked to my dad last night. He finished watching it too, and he brought up a couple of points. He was like, they're selling these tigers. He was like, there's probably been a few points in my life where if I knew I could buy a tiger for $2,000, I probably would have done it. He was like, I had no idea you could buy a tiger for $2,000. He was like, there are breeds of dog that cost 2 and 3 times that.
Yeah.
And it's true.
I mean, and you think about if there's 5,000 to 10,000 tigers in captivity in America, how many do you think have been killed? Like, just by Doc Antle, if you believe what they said about him, and I do believe that, because I mean, once they get over 8-10 months old, there's not a whole lot you can do with them.
Yeah, they become too dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, they become something that rips your damn arm off, like they did that woman, South.
I mean, when I was a kid, and I talked to my dad about this too, when I was a kid, my dad's dad, my grandpa, when we would go stay with him for the weekend or for a night or whatever, there was a petting zoo on the south side of town here that he would take us to sometime, and we spent like 10 minutes trying to remember the name of this place. If there's anybody watching that is from the Augusta area and remembers the name of that petting zoo, I want to say it was down off Highway 25, but it might have been, it was somewhere down there, like out towards Hepsi. If you remember it, let me know. But anyway, and he would take us there. But these were like, you would go there, you would pet a llama, and maybe they would have like a Shetland pony tied to a post in the ground, and you'd sit on the pony and walk in a circle. Like that was it. And maybe they had a flamingo or something. Not tigers and lions and then they're crossbreeding. I didn't know ligers were real. I thought that was a thing from what's that Napoleon Dynamite?
No,
they talk about
they're
ligers.
Definitely real.
I thought that was.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was a real thing. They're mating tigers and I'm assuming that's what a liger is. You mate a
It
tiger and a
is,
lion.
it is, and those things are scary looking too, and they become huge. They get huge.
I mean, these people, they've got monkeys and gorillas and elephants and bears. It's just unreal.
Did you catch? I think it was in the first episode. What happened in Zanesville, Ohio? Did you happen to catch that? They didn't spend a lot of time on it at all.
You have to
Basically, the guy up there that released a bunch of tigers.
Oh yeah, and they were running around town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. They had to kill. They had to kill
I mean,
them.
you
Had to shoot them.
think
all.
about that, man. All these places all over the country. What kind of mess did happen if people release all these animals?
Yeah, and it's like you said, these nitwits are buying these 8-week-old tiger cubs for $2,000 because they're cute and cuddly. But like you said, I mean, they say over and over again in the documentary, by the time these things are a year old, they're 400 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got 2 labs that weigh about 130 each, and I can't stand it. It's insane. Can you imagine a 400-pound tiger running around your backyard? No, come on.
Oh, man.
This is just so. That's what happens. They end up getting euthanized or killed or whatever the case. I don't know. The whole thing just. It's like There's like this whole subculture around these tigers and lions that I just didn't know existed. I mean, you think of that and you think like, okay, everybody knows Mike Tyson had a tiger, but he's Mike friggin' Tyson. He's he's weird. He's weird, and he found $10 million on the ground. Michael Jackson, with the giraffe in his front yard, but it's Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it was regular white trash out there that was going around buying up $2,000 tiger cubs.
Yeah,
And that's what I mean. Let's just be real. That's what the majority of these people were. Let's just be honest. Somebody's going to get mad at me. These weren't doctors and lawyers going out buying up these tigers and lions. That's not what was happening here. These were people that were saving up 2, 3, 4 months worth of government checks, and they were going out and buying these tigers and putting them in a spare room in their trailer. That's what was happening here.
Pretty much until they got so big they couldn't do nothing with them.
Yeah.
That happens a lot with alligators. People buy the cute little foot-long, cute little alligator, and the next thing you know, they're keeping it in their bathtub. Then the next thing you know, oh shit!
Now
let me go find a pond somewhere.
That Tiger King was 7 episodes. Each episode was between 45 minutes and an hour long. So between 6 and 7 hours worth of Tiger King. How many black people did you see?
There was between 0 and none.
I off the top of my head, I can't even remember a black person that was just like, well, maybe he was just in one episode, but then not the next or something. Maybe there was some.
Yeah,
maybe there was some.
any.
Sometimes they would show the crowds coming through the zoo or something. Maybe there was a shot there or something. But as far as the 15 or 20 characters that were, buying these things.
Yeah, that's right. Mike
trash.
Reiser said Shaq.
White trash. Was Shaq in it?
Yeah, just briefly.
Oh, okay. Did he buy a tiger?
He was at Joe Exotic Zoo.
Oh, okay. Well, Shaq's white trash, though. No, I'm just kidding. Shaq Diesel.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I like Shaq. I don't. People just say like the NBA. No, but that TNT show with. I do like the pregame show on the Shaq and Charles they need their own show. Or I don't know. Maybe you've never. I know you're not a basketball NBA guy either, BBD. But the pregame and halftime and postgame shows that TNT does, their in-studio thing, Shaq and Charles Barkley are in there. Absolutely hilarious. Those two are comedy gold together. I'm kind of surprised somebody in the TV industry or something hasn't noticed like the chemistry that those two have. First of all, they're both very charismatic just on their own. They're just over-the-top personalities, both of them. But the two
That's
of them
just
together,
terrible.
that's terrible. Shaq and Charles Barkley together are comedy gold. I mean, everything they do is just hilarious to me. I'm kind of surprised somebody hasn't, said, let's get the two of them. And I would watch a Shaq Charles Barkley reality show. 100%. Sign me up.
I don't know anybody that likes Stephen A. Smith, Jeff. I've never liked that guy.
I don't really like him, and I don't really like Skip Bayless, but that show was amazing. Now, it's garbage now because Skip Bayless and ESPN couldn't get along or whatever the case was, and Skip Bayless left and went to Fox Sports or whatever. But the original First Take, where it was just 2 hours of Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless arguing back and forth, that show was amazing. I don't like either one of them individually, but I thought together they had a great thing going. And I don't know whose fault it was or what didn't work out or how that happened where they got split up, but I think it was a huge mistake by somebody. Because now I don't watch either one. I don't watch Skip Bayless on Fox Sports, and I don't watch First Take on ESPN anymore.
I don't watch any of those shows.
I only liked it because of the dynamic that those two had together. Once they split up, I lost interest in both of them.
I think about the only one of those shows I ever watched with any regularity was the one with Tony Kornheiser and what's the black guy's name that was on there with him?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know if that show's still on.
Is it Michael Wilbon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
PTI. Pardon the interruption.
Yeah. That is good. That is good.
Is it still on?
I would assume so, but I don't know. But I would assume it is still on.
Well, I think we stayed on long enough to satisfy the guy earlier that asked if we were going to stay 30 minutes extra since I was 30 minutes late this morning.
Yeah, I would agree. Let me read a couple more of these. I guess we'll call them super chats for lack of a better term, but a couple more.
Super PayPals.
Super PayPals. Yeah. Again, Chris Duncan and Celine Driver, thank you guys again from earlier. And we've got Chess Hall. Thank you, sir. He says, good morning, sir. You're still my favorite YouTuber, and that. Well, thank you, sir. As of this, at least as far as right now goes, you're my favorite viewer. So thank you. He also says, I don't know if you do TikTok, Uncle Lou, but I got 63,000 followers. You should make a TikTok. Here's the thing with TikTok.
Chess Hall?
Yeah, Chess Hall. Both my kids do the TikTok thing. I'm going to stay away from it, partly for that reason, and partly because I just don't. Maybe there's more to TikTok than what I know. All I know is what my kids do on TikTok, which is a bunch of 5 or 6 second dance clips. So I'm sure there's more to it than that, but anyway, it's not that I mind
what is
branching
TikTok
out,
TikTok must be like the new Vine.
Yes. That's a great way to put it.
And
my understanding of TikTok is very limited. I basically know enough about TikTok to monitor what my kids are doing on there. But
6 seconds is not enough. Is not enough time for Uncle Lou, is it?
No, and maybe there's different things you can do on TikTok. I don't know, but all my kids do it's real. Basically, a song plays. You dance to it or do something while the song plays, and TikTok adds certain effects and things to the video for you, I think.
Oh. Okay.
And maybe it's a little longer than 6 seconds. Maybe it's 10 seconds or whatever the case. But that's all my kids use it for. So maybe there's more to it than that. I don't know. But, I'm not against the idea of branching out in different ways and doing different things. But as of right now, I'm not going to go the TikTok route. But if you are on TikTok, find Chess Hall if you haven't already, because he has 63,000 subscribers.
Chess will be with us Thursday. We can get him to explain that to us.
What a great idea. Chris Connor, thank you for supporting the show this morning, sir. Let's see what we have here. He said, for the Waterhead Special Education Fund. The initials are DE. I'll just leave it at that. But I think he's talking about the scholar and gentleman what left that very nice message on my personal Facebook page this morning. I think is who he's talking about. And then he says, for the non-essential who need the help, I'm blessed to not miss any work at all. Oh, it's Slim Shady Canes. Thank you, Slim Shady Canes. I appreciate you tuning in this morning, supporting the show. It means a lot to me and BBD that you guys continue to do this, especially during this kind of confusing time with the second channel trying to get off the ground and up and running and whatever. I am especially grateful to those of you that followed me over here to the second channel for the live shows. And just to reiterate, and I guess I need to do a better job of mentioning this probably every video I make, whether it's a live video or an uploaded video, on regardless of what channel it's on, all the live shows are going to be on this channel. All the uploaded videos are going to be on the other channel. So if you didn't watch yesterday's video, you missed out, because you guys have been begging for these super fans, and 90 Proofer Luther delivered a real banger for you guys yesterday. If there's a reason you haven't seen it yet, make sure you check out the original Uncle Lou channel. And 90 Proofer Luther talks about the coronavirus and its possible impact on the 2020 season. And it was amazing, BVD. It was good to hear from old Luther again. And we got another super fan coming up today. So
I watched it.
Okay, good.
I commented.
Good. Yes, you did. That's right. You did commented.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, any last words from you, BVD, before we wrap things up for Tuesday?
Appreciate you guys. See you tonight in the comments if I'm awake at the After Dark, and we'll see you tomorrow morning and tomorrow night over on my channel. Thanks. Love you. Seen it. And close it out, Lou. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Big shout out to all you guys for tuning in this morning. Sorry it started a few minutes late this morning. I know we joke about it. I do my best to start this show at 8 o'clock every day. I really do. And 90% of the time, I'm live by 8 o'clock. Now, it might be the music for a few minutes while I finish getting things set up, and the actual show starts at 8:05 or something like that. But I do my best to actually have the show up and running by 8 o'clock. I apologize for being a little bit late today, but I'm glad you guys didn't give up and stuck around for an extra 10 or 15 minutes, whatever it was, until we were able to start the show. So big shout out to all you people who made it through to the end. NASCAR Vol, Jeff Webster, Dago, Albert Sanchez, Sarah Crane, Tim Jones, NASCAR Vol, Katusa, Melissa May, Ballard, Jerome Pruitt, Brian Biak, Snake Spence, Brian, T2Y Exclusive, hashtag the Pine Cone, good morning, sir. The Glitter Gator, Don Atkins. Appreciate all you guys tuning in this morning. I hope you had a good time. I did. And we'll turn right back around and do it again tomorrow at 8 a.m. You guys enjoy your Tuesday. It's going to rain here most of the day, which is, I ended up having to do yard work all day. Yeah, I did the morning show yesterday. As soon as I finished, I didn't even go inside. I immediately got to work on the Luther video because I knew I had a busy day, and if I would have tried to take a break, things just would have went haywire. But and then I spent all afternoon yesterday doing yard work. I wanted to do 2 days of yard work, and ended up having to do it all yesterday because it's going to pour here today. Anyway, that's that. I appreciate all of you tuning in. Today's Tuesday. Yeah, Superfan video today. Most likely, there's a chance that I will have to film the video today and edit it tomorrow. We'll see. I'm going to try to get it up today. If there's a reason it doesn't get up today, it'll be up early tomorrow, though. Live show schedule for the rest of this week. I think most of you know it by now, but we're going to do the morning show all 5 days this week at or around 8 a.m. And then the nighttime shows here on YouTube Tuesday, Thursday night at 10 p.m. Tonight we have Georgia versus Oregon in the championship game of the We Really Wish We Could Win a Natty playoff tournament that we've been running on the channel for the last couple of weeks. So tune in tonight at 10 p.m. for that. And that's going to do it. Appreciate you guys watching. I will see you again real soon. Have a good morning.
Imagination